Here we are. This is the Donald Trump Zoran Mamdani hour. Every joke tonight. We're live. Here from the Los Angeles School of Comedy. This is the Zoran Mamdani hour. So what's the most funny thing you heard today in the news? It had to be Melania Trump suing Hunter Biden. Yep, Melania Trump sent a threatening letter to Hunter Biden because he got on television and said that Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump. Man doesn't know what he's taking on because she came back with the best retort. She said, yeah, maybe Hunter can stop trading on other people's names to get ahead. Now that his father's not around anymore, he's trying to trade on mine. Truth is, Hunter's a has-been. Now Biden's daughter's getting divorced. You wonder whether the husband said, "You're no use to me anymore." But no children, went amicably. I guess she's going to be on the board of bereavement next. Oh, can't. Not a Republican. But here's my thing. We have a light night tonight at the LA School of Comedy. We're going to bring you the ineffable humor of Billy. What is your name again? What? I know it's Ramirez. Billy Ramirez, but not now. I'm not finished yet. All right. Here's my problem. We have Elizabeth Warren and Zoran Mamdani and AOC running around talking about billionaires. Haven't they looked at themselves? The biggest, fattest billionaire in the Democratic Party is sitting right there, J.B. Pritzker. Now, why is it that the heir to the Hyatt hotels, they still own them, by the way, wants more migrants? It's slavery. When is America to wake up to the fact that bringing these people in is intentional, abusive slavery? All he's thinking about is who's going to clean his friggin' rooms. So he wants to bring in all these women from Venezuela and Guatemala to pick pussy hairs off the couches. The disgusting sheets in a Hyatt hotel in downtown Chicago. Look at the man. I mean, come on. On his diet alone, and I'm no Slim Pickens, but I know he could feed 10 families. Really, look at Pritzker. Billionaire talking about, we got to worry about. These people don't care about the poor. Why would they care about? Why would you bring all these people in from South America and make them work for $5 an hour because they can't complain? Why? Because they need them in their neighborhoods in order to build up their census numbers so they can gerrymander again. This is all about power. I'm sitting ranting and raving on a Wednesday night. Do you realize that? No, it's true. I'm reading the paper today, and it's like, the fuck? What is going on? Tell me, what is going on with this country? All they think that they're going to do to Democrats is they think they're going to take over the Congress in 26 and impeach Trump. Isn't that a hell of a way to run a country? What do you think should be going on in this country? I think they should be coming up with a new bill to feed the homeless. But I've noticed around the neighborhood, the homeless have new hours. They have no choice because Newsom and Bass have been sweeping them up so it looks good for the Olympics. So across the street from the school is what do they call that place? The discount furniture place. Why do the homeless stay there? Because there are awnings outside. Take down the awnings, they may not find it so nice because they got a nice little awning. The sun don't hit them. All of a sudden, you'll see 20 encampments sitting there. Plus, we have our regulars around. And this morning, I walked down here. There's one guy sleeping in the door of the bath shop. There's the normal woman on the corner. She comes later. And there's some guy homeless guy riding around on a bike looking for only other homeless to rob. I watched that happen here. The woman on the corner, there's this homeless guy going through this woman's stuff, ripping it apart. He looked like a dog digging for a bone. What was he looking for? Drugs, probably. This is not sustainable. I'm telling you that right now. Non-sustainability. I know that nobody wanted to hear this tonight. All they want to hear about is how we're going to help the homeless. Now, or like my daughters. I love my daughters. But if I have to hear about genocide one more time, I just want to tell them what genocide really is. Genocide is the Turks marching the Armenians for hundreds of miles so that they die. Anybody ever hear about the Armenian massacres? That was a genocide. How about this? Putting people into railroad cars, trucking them 100,000 miles deep into Poland to work them to death and gas them. That's a genocide. All right? Bombing a couple of terrorists doesn't quite make the mark. All right, it's wrong. It's probably counterproductive, but it isn't a genocide. Here is the problem. What people do, especially people in power, in order to stay in power, is they control the dictionary. There are no more homeless people if you call them unhoused. They're not homeless anymore. There's no stigmata. They're unhoused. All right? There's nothing. Migrants, they're not migrants, they're illegal aliens. Well, no, they're migrants now. That way it isn't illegal for them across the border. It's legal. It's only civil. Not a single member of Congress reads the Constitution or knows what laws they write. It's like Nancy Pelosi when they passed Obamacare. She said, well, what's in the bill, Nancy? She goes, well, we won't know until we pass it. What do you mean you didn't read it? You know she can't read with those owl eyes of her. She has so much Botox in her face, she couldn't possibly read. Anyhow, this is a short night. This is going to be a fine night. And in order to, we're going to bring up that great Latino, Billy Ramirez. Don't I sound like one of those guys at the Mexican wrestling fans? Billy, tell me, what's the name of that where they wear the masks and everything? Yo, yeah, I love that.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. Settle down, everyone. All right, thank you very much. So what's new with me? I've been dealing with the pitter-patter of little feet. I got little mouths to feed. Exactly what you're thinking. Squirrels. Yes, I'm dealing with squirrels that have broken into my apartment. The screen door will only keep a squirrel out if they let it. So right now, I brought this upon myself. They bit through my screen door. My screen door was basically a fresh ear, and the squirrels were Mike Tyson. But what happened was I started feeding one squirrel last year, and I put out bird seed in a bowl, bird seed that I found at the local pet store. And the squirrel, she loved the bird seed. I know she's a she because she climbed up on my screen door several times and basically just flashed me like, some squirrel Mardi Gras. So like, I don't have beads, but I have seeds. So then she enjoyed the bird seed, but I don't know if word got down the squirrel pike or down, the squirrel nut vine. But more and more squirrels started showing up and started fighting over the seed and spilling it and making it a mess. So I switched to feeding them peanuts. And they love the peanuts, and I love feeding them peanuts because they grab the peanuts and then they go head off to the little squirrel tree. I basically turned my back patio into a squirrel drive-through. Tried to turn it into a squirrel Sonic, but I couldn't find my rollerblades, and they don't have a car, so it was a dumb idea all around. But anyways, I cannot resist feeding them peanuts. They look so cute. Sometimes they show up with their little paws curled up, like they just finished a long day in the squirrel mines. Like, please, might I have another? I don't know why they would have that accent. They're from California, but I just can't resist feeding these adorable squirrels peanuts. And I think by now you figured out that I care about the squirrels, so I looked up what I should feed the squirrels. I looked up several websites, and it turns out that too many peanuts is bad for squirrels. Okay, it's bad for their bone health. I'm at an age where I should be worried about my own bone health or the bone health of my wife and children, whatever, but I have neither, so instead squirrels, But none of these websites that tell you too many peanuts is bad for squirrels don't tell you how many peanuts is bad for squirrels. So now every time I feed a peanut that I can't resist feeding them, it feels like I'm playing like some squirrel Russian roulette. Like, is this the one that's going to start liquefying your adorable little squirrel bones? And I don't know, but I don't think I'm feeding them too many peanuts. But in any case, if you're ever on the west side and you start tripping over furry bags of squirrel soup, it was too many peanuts, and I'm very, very sorry. Let's see. So I don't know if you can tell by the anything. I am Latino, first generation. ¿Qué pasa, órale? And I fortunate enough to live in the motherland for a few years when I was growing up. And that's the jumping off point for this story I like to call the first time I got hit by a car. Okay, so what happened was I was hanging out with my mom in the kitchen. She was making lunch, and my brother and my dad were up in the city running errands. And my mom ran out of tortillas while making lunch. And in a Latino household, that's an emergency. So she gave me money to go to the corner store across the street to go get tortillas. And this is something that my older brother and I had done many, many times, but I'd never done it myself. I'd never crossed the street by myself at this point. And I was a little nervous. So I get the money, I go down, head to the store. And when I get to the edge of the street, I freeze. Like, granted, this wasn't like crossing the 405 or anything. It was just crossing a dirt road in a small Mexican town in the 80s. But still, I'd never done it myself, right? And so I was nervous. So, I was trying to work up the courage, like I was about to jump into some sort of Mexican double Dutch, like banana split. What do you get in arithmetic? But in Spanish, whatever that goes. I don't know. Plátano, y sepa la bola. Anyways, but eventually I worked up enough courage, and I took off across the street like Speedy Gonzales. And when I woke up, people from the neighborhood were pulling me from what I later found out was a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. They were pulling me from under that. And they stood me up like a rickety card table, like a rickety bar stool. And when they realized I wasn't going to tip over, they just left. That was it. That was the extent of medical care, small town, 1980s Mexico. And I was only 7 years old, but I could count to 10. I could have gone a few rounds, toe-to-toe on a few rounds of how many fingers am I holding up, But no, that was it. At this point, I didn't have tortillas. I had just gotten hit by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. And I was still on the same side of the street that I started on, and I was in no mood to try again. So I started walking home. But at 7 years old, I was wise enough to know that I needed an excuse why I didn't have tortillas and why I looked like I had just gotten hit by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. So I figured, perfect excuse. Our neighbor, Tere, short for Teresa, she had this dog named Sapo, which is Spanish for toad, because he had this really goofy bark. And you weren't anyone on the street if you hadn't gotten chased by Sapo, okay? So I figured, perfect excuse. I'll just tell my mom I got chased by Sapo. I fell. Don't feel like getting tortillas anymore. So I walk in, and then my mom sees me and immediately does that mom gasp, probably because I looked like I had just gotten hit by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. So she starts dusting me off, and she asks me what happens, and I start crying real tears, on account of just being hit by a 2-ton truck, She asked me what happens, and I say, Sapo got out, and I fell, and I don't feel like getting tortillas anymore. My mom understood, and, that was that. She dusted me off. And then she went into the kitchen, grabbed a strawberry Fanta, and opened it for me, and gave it to me, and that was that. So at this point, all I wanted to do was just grab my Fanta and go to the hammock on the other side of the yard. I figured my dad and my brother are going to be here. Then go get tortillas. So I started walking over, and then I hear a knock at the door, and my mom goes to answer. And it turns out it's Tere, the neighbor. And at this point, I'm hoping that my mom is going to defend my honor based on this lie that I just told her, or maybe she's going to figure out that I lied or something like that. But no, immediately they were comadres. They're like this. So immediately they just start talking like old Mexican people do, where the conversation is mostly just shut your mouth and God willing, like, si Dios quiere, God willing, cállate la boca, shut your mouth, this and that. But it was a short conversation, and I'm like, in the blink of an eye, it was done. And that got me curious. So I asked my mom, what was that about? And she says, well, don't worry. Tere, she just left for the weekend, and she just wanted me to watch the house. It's like, I don't care. That doesn't pertain to me. All I want to do is grab my Fanta and head to the hammock. So it's exactly what I do. And when I get to within 3 steps of the hammock, my mom pipes up. Oh, and by the way, yes, dear mother, she took the dog. Go get tortillas. God damn it. So thank you, everyone, for listening. My name is Billy Ramirez. You can find me at billyramirez.com and on TikTok and Instagram at middle-aged muchacho. Please welcome back to the stage, America's sweetheart, Mark Zaffron.
Yeah. Anyhow, Billy made me think about a story in New York. Has anybody ever heard of Peanut the Squirrel? Yes. Right. Peanut the Squirrel was arrested by masked agents of the Department of Fish and Game. You think the people claim that ICE are terrorists? They ought to try and harbor a wild animal in New York. They broke into this man's house and they killed Peanut. Now the state's getting sued for $4.2 million. Think about it. $4.2 million for a squirrel. But they shouldn't have killed him. It's the emotional distress, because now an animal has been declared to be a member of the family for the purpose of suing. The trial lawyers must love it. Oh my God, you killed Bubbles. I want $20 million. That's my support animal. But then again, I've also heard the pitter patter of little feet in my apartment in New York. They're called mice. And there's only one way to deal with mice: cats. So here we are. We bring the cats back from Los Angeles. They come to visit in New York. And, you notice there are no more mice. Then one day I see the cats are on either side of a couch with those little teeth that they have. There's some poor mouse running back and forth getting ready to have a heart attack. See, cats never have to kill the mouse. They give the mouse a heart attack. Their favorite thing with a mouse is to get it in its mouth, catch it, bring it upstairs to the tub, and torture it. The evilest animals on earth are cats. And on that note, playing Felix the cat himself, or even better, what was that cat from the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers? From High... right? You remember him? Oh, yeah, Fritz. So now we're bringing up our very own Fritz the cat, that paragon of drama education, the head of the Film Actors Cafe. And on that note, here we go. There you go. Aaron's not coming up yet. I didn't say his name, but I will hawk his T-shirts. These are the official T-shirts of the Film Actors Cafe. $20. Come on into the LA School of Comedy. If you buy a class with Aaron, a full range of classes, or a class with Sunda, you will get a free T-shirt. Yeah. And here he is, Aaron McIntyre.
I have to add to the applause. Hey, you look at you. You look great out there. Yeah. Yes, and this is the other, God. Damn that shit. This is the other T-shirt right here. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much. All right, well, I guess I'm the headliner tonight. Woo! I wanted to do a whole. I decided I wanted to try a whole thing on the vernacular, on the way people speak. The language that we've developed in this country is just bizarre, because everybody is always asking me if I know what they mean. Do you know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Feel me? That's a line too far, in my opinion. Don't ask. Don't say feel me, because I ain't gonna. Unless you're hot and female. Just putting it out there. But there's a lot of other things like. The number of times you hear "like" in a sentence now, sometimes, especially when you're talking to younger people, it's every other word is "like." So everything is like something else. So it's a disqualifier. So you're basically saying it's not really that, it's like that. So that you're kind of removing yourself from any responsibility, which is pretty much what everybody's trying to do. Everybody's trying to not shuck. Shuck is what you do with corn. What do you do? You're sloughing. No, you're doing something with your responsibilities. And shirking. Thank you. It's not shucking, it's shirking. No shirking around here. But there's lots of different things that people say. Like when you walk into a store and somebody says, "Can I help you? Can I help you?" I just scream, "Nobody can help me!" And then they leave me alone. It's freaking great. And then nobody will ever come up and ask me another question again. And I can just peruse. They'll also say, "Feel free to look around." Feel free. It's a free country. Didn't you put this store here so that I would come in and look around? Why are you giving me? I don't need permission. The other one is have a good one. Have a good what? I've never understood that. Have a good day. Have a good year. Have a good week. Have a good life. I don't get that, because, first of all, if anybody has ever said have a good day or have a good week or even have a good one, fuck you. Fuck you, because don't tell me what to do. If I don't want to have a good day, I won't. If, trying to put your shit on me. There's a lot of things. Sometimes people say things like whatnot all the time in every sentence. And then we went to the store and whatnot. And then I bought myself a Coca-Cola and whatnot. And everything is whatnot. And I've never understood where that comes from. I think it's just a little bonus word that they throw in to make their conversation sound intelligent or something. I'm not really sure. Work on something for that. And the other one is my ex-wife had a Aunt Bobby. She was from New Jersey, and she used to say "and everything else" all the time. And she told the story one time of this dog that she had, and she said, and that dog, he walked right into the living room, and everything else. And then the dog just dropped dead and everything else. And we were all standing around and everything else. And we were saying, what happened to the dog and everything else? And it was literally almost every sentence she would say, and everything else. And I was always wondering what the everything else was, because there had to be something in there. Just something that I was thinking about that was troubling me the whole time. My daughter is a big talker. She likes to talk a lot. She got that from her mother. She didn't get it from me. I'm a man of few words. But her mother and her, they can have a conversation that will just go on for days, and it's really hard to get a word in edgewise yourself. But my ex-wife is we used to call her the question lady, because she would just ask questions over and over and over, just one question after the other. I went to see my grandmother, and I knew my grandmother, of course, my whole life at that point. I'm in my 30s at that point. I'd known my grandmother forever. And I learned more about my grandmother in one afternoon sitting with my ex-wife than I ever would have imagined that I would ever learn, because of the questions. Now, my daughter makes statements. But because she is of the generation she makes statements that sound like questions. The upward inflection that is so prevalent in our society nowadays, where you say, Mark, we're looking at your phone, like it's a question? No? Yeah, of course not. Yeah, you can multitask. Yes, I appreciate that. No, but I'm making the point about the question thing. That bothers me. Anybody else? Anybody else in here? Any of you guys over here? Yeah. Yes. Does that bother you? I'm done. This has been great. This has been so much fun. But I'm ready to go home. I was ready to go home when I walked in the door. Now I'm really ready. Yeah. Hey, I'm enthusiastic. Yeah. Just would have been so much better if there were more people here.
This is what happens when you flog people's merchandise.
Yes.
They stab you in the back.
They stab you in the back.
Here I go, flogging Aaron's merchandise. He has to complain about his health. What's really bothering him is that he had a big hit to his income today. Only Aaron rents an Airbnb in bumfuck Colorado to French people. And when the heat goes out, because there's no hot water, they say, oh, we like it here. Yeah, well, you can't take a shower. And then what did they say to him? We don't shower. We're French. They don't need hot water. They can warm up on the stove just to splash their faces. Is the hot tub working? No hot tub. Anyhow, this is the LA School of Comedy. If you think you're funny, maybe you are. Billy came in here as a novice. He was funny-ish, but now he's funny. He has his 5 minutes. He works on his act. He knows what to do. He knows how to hold the mic, which I can't. And that's what Sundar will teach you. And Aaron, on his nights, will teach you how to be an actor when you're a stand-up comic, because they always say stand-ups can't act. And then coming again in the fall is the Right Club with Justin Chafin. Another one of our great offerings. We do podcasts. We do self-tapes. Look at this place. Oh, you can't. We can't turn the cameras around. Suffice it to say, LA School of Comedy has a professional board, professional sound, professional video, run by our great team. Come on in and take a look at us. Thank you.
All right.
I have terrible indigestion today.